A 20-year-old enters a stadium that will sound like Manila tomorrow night while the city of Dubai is illuminated. A top 10 predator who has dedicated his life to squelching fairy tales is on the opposite side of the net. However, this is the topic that no one is discussing. This match is more than just a round of 32 contest. This chamber is under pressure. Because Alexandra Eala does more than simply defeat Jasmine Paolini if she prevails. In a single evening, she transforms the women's tennis hierarchy. And the doubts come back if she loses. The murmurs come back. The story that isn't quite ready reappears. And that's where the risk in this story lies. Dubai's arid air has a peculiar effect. The ball travels more quickly. The rallies become shorter. The margins get smaller. And in certain circumstances, little flaws turn deadly. This matchup is explosive because of that. Paolini is the top-ranked, battle-tested, and unwavering favorite on paper. The fact that Eala no longer plays like a world number 47 complicates matters, though. She performs as though she has already achieved mental success. Someone who punched through the roof after seeing it. Go back to Miami in 2025. Alexandra Eala storming into a WTA 1000 semifinal was not anticipated. She blinked despite everyone's expectations that she would stare down well-known celebrities. And a change occurred. It was evident in her shoulders, gait, and the way opponents began to pay more attention to her warm-up. That run wasn't an anomaly.
It was a sign.
And that might be confirmed tomorrow evening. However, this is the tension that no one wants to acknowledge. Jasmine Paolini is uninterested in your plot. The crowd doesn't matter to her. Viral moments are unimportant to her. Control, rhythm, and suffocation are important to her. She forces opponents to hit one more ball, then another, and still another, dragging them into rallies they don't want to be in. She's already waiting when they ultimately go for too much. The trap is that. And nobody anticipated this part. In terms of style, Ella's greatest asset can end up being her biggest liability. That heavy, wide-kicking lefty forehand kick. It's catastrophic for players who lose their cool. Paolini, however, remains calm. She has a small, early surgical backhand.
She takes a break.
She denies you the opportunity to appreciate your own success. What happens then when Eala smashes her trademark cross-court forehand and it returns to her feet lower, faster, and deeper? Doubt starts to sneak in at that point. Then it's match time. But hold on, because the crowd is another layer. For Eala, Dubai is not a neutral location. It sounds like home when she performs here. Chants, drums, and Filipino flags reverberate throughout the aircraft club. She can reach new heights with such energy. We've already seen it. Here's the psychological twist, though. The energy of a crowd has two sides. It both pushes and lifts you. It becomes louder with each failed second serve, tightening each break point. When facing a seasoned player who has participated in Billie Jean King Cup matches in hostile environments, can a 20-year-old handle that emotional outburst? It goes beyond tennis. Nerve control is that. Speaking of second serves, this is the point at which the alarms subtly sound. Over the previous 12 months, Eala has won less than half of her second serve points. She outlasts a top 10 returner who hunts from the baseline against mediocre tour players. That's risky. Paolini intervenes, seizes it beforehand, and immediately reroutes. This might rapidly worsen if Ella's first serve percentage falls below 65% tomorrow. However, that wasn't even the whole truth. The distribution of pressure is the true tale. This competition is important to Paolini. She is defending her position. This is a loss. Ranking repercussions, momentum hit. Headlines highlighting Ella's fragility. The money is for the house. She is ascending. Every victory is a bonus. An underdog might become a weapon thanks to such psychological freedom. Paolini is aware that swinging fearlessly causes one to swing harder, faster, and more freely. Imagine the first 4 games now. There is no head-to-head data for the first encounter. Testing spin, pace, depth, and lefty patterns against great footwork will be the vibe of the first few rallies. Ella's early break will cause the stadium to blow up. This is where things become difficult once more. Structure is what Paolini thrives on. She must modify if the beat falters. Additionally, individuals underestimate how difficult it is to adjust to loudness. Don't undervalue the Italian, though. She is in the prime of her profession at the age of 30. She has responded to all of the inquiries made by criticism. Overly weak, overly protective, and insufficiently strong. Instead of arguing, she got better. She honed her timing. During her trip, she developed one of the most effective movement routines. She doesn't squander swings or steps. She watches for any cracks. Additionally, flaws show under the pressure of the scoreboard against a youthful attacker. Another hidden factor is this:
Wind.
there will likely be a little evening breeze. That might sound insignificant. It's not. Drift is served by high toss. Sails with heavy top spin are inches long. Eala may be particularly vulnerable due to her left-handed form. Paolini cuts cleaner with a flatter trajectory, who adjusts more quickly when things get complicated. Before we even know it, that response may decide the first set. And this is where the tension really starts to rise. The battleground shifts emotionally if this gets to 3 sets. According to conventional belief, youth prevail in endurance competitions. However, Paolini has established a solid reputation in long-duration contests. Roland Garros refusing to fade, recuperating, and grinding at Wimbledon. The advantage changes if rallies continuously go over 15 shots. Eala needs to cut points, launch an early attack, use angles, and perhaps even use drop shots to startle. Because the odds are stacked against her if she plays typical baseline attrition tennis. But what if she causes a disturbance? What happens if she declines to provide Paolini rhythm? Make it messy by slicing low, shifting the pace, suddenly pulling her forward, and forcing uncomfortable half volleys. Because this is the reality. Chaos is disliked by elite consistency players, and turmoil could be Eala's secret weapon. Since Alexandra Eala defeated a top 10 player under duress while the stands roared with expectations, the true question now becomes if she is ready to graduate, not rank in identity, and stop being promising and start becoming dangerous. It's not a little step. It's a statement. We're not done, though, since the outcome of the last set, if it occurs, might define not only this match, but also the early story of 2026. Imagine now that there are 4 games in this third set. There is no longer any cheering noise coming from the stadium. It sounds like pressure. The ball resonates with each bounce. It seems like every towel break lasts longer. Reputations are established or subtly delayed here. And this is the reason why both players find this time terrifying. They are battling 2 foes simultaneously. The voice inside their own head and the person on the other side of the internet. Because this is something that no one mentions while playing a top 10 opponent. Adrenaline is the first set. Adjustment is the second set. However, identity is the third set. When you start to feel tired, who are you? When your ambition feels lighter than your legs, who are you? At this point, the focus changes from tactical to psychological. Let's start by discussing Paolini. She has experienced long rallies, close scorelines, and break points that seem like match points.
She takes her time.
She doesn't recoil. She breathes more slowly. She starts over. Veteran control is that. And nobody anticipated this part. Highlight reels don't always reflect experience. It manifests itself in small choices. Selecting the safe cross-court over the dangerous line. Serving body at 30 to 30 as opposed to wide. Controlling the tempo in between ideas. Matches are won by those small decisions.
Here's the tension, though.
Eala has something that veterans can't produce. Uncertainty. A young athlete loses her trepidation when she feels like she belongs. Furthermore, unafraid tennis is terrifying. You have no idea when the drop shot will occur. You have no idea when she will change her mind. When she enters the baseline and rips a return winner that silences a favorite, you never know. Even the best players hesitate because of this uncertainty. Additionally, even a brief pause alters results. Furthermore, we must not overlook the significance of this match beyond rankings. For Eala, defeating Jasmine Paolini isn't the only goal. The purpose of this is to demonstrate that Miami wasn't a bottle. about demonstrating to the tennis community that Southeast Asia has arrived rather than just developing. She is carrying more than just a racket when she enters that court. She brings momentum, pride, and expectations that have the power to either push you above or lower you than reason would suggest. But what if she gets off to a slow start? What happens if Paolini suddenly takes a 3-0 lead? At that point, uncertainty begins to permeate the group. The sound becomes softer. This is where mental maturity is put to the test. Is Eala able to resist the need to hurry? Because that is just what the Italian wants, to surge against Paolini. Impatience is what she thrives on. After absorbing it, she turns it back toward you. That's her brilliance. She is not overbearing. She outlives. However, this is where Paolini's situation becomes risky. Pressure swings if Eala holds early and maintains a tight scoreline. The favorite feels like they are being pursued. Every unintentional mistake seems more significant. Each missed return is investigated. Because losing to a 20-year-old who is on the rise is more than simply a defeat, it's a story. Additionally, famous athletes sense headlines before they are published. Imagine the breakpoint in the decider at 5-5. History is bending forward. Phones are recording, and the crowd is standing. Under such strain, does Eala steer the wide lefty serve, or does she trust it? Because Paolini is one of the most aggressive returners on the circuit when under pressure, and because guided serves are attacked. She intervenes, seizes the initiative, and hits first. She jumps in if she senses hesitancy. Here's the twist, though. The whole emotional geometry shifts if Eala gets that serve and gives it her all. Shoulders relax as confidence soars. The underdog seemed inevitable all of a sudden. That's how momentum functions. It doesn't change over time. It turns over. Furthermore, we haven't even discussed endurance in arid environments. Dubai nightlife appears glamorous. They're not simple. The air is dry. It matters to recover between points. Who is better at staying hydrated? Who has superior heart rate control? These specifics seem insignificant. They're not. Marginal physical efficiency becomes the deciding factor in tight third sets. Paolini is renowned for his economical footwork. She glides. She's not a waste of energy. Eala is vibrant and explosive, yet her explosiveness consumes fuel. Who pays the price first if rallies consistently last longer than 10 shots? What happens, though, if Eala maintains points under 6 shots? What if she employs angles, attacks second serves, doesn't rally, and surprisingly pushes Paolini forward? That throws off the flow. Additionally, rhythm is key to Paolini's game. You shatter comfort when you break rhythm. When you break your comfort, you expose yourself. And all an underdog needs is weakness. Let's take a moment to zoom out. The WTA is currently undergoing change. The well-known names are protecting their area. The gates are being stormed by the following generation. These kinds of matches determine who will steer the 2026 narrative. Every draw Eala enters will be unique if she wins. She transforms from a scary outsider to a real menace. Seeds begin to compute. Commentators change their tone. The way opponents prepare varies. A career can be accelerated by a single match. However, if Paolini prevails with conviction, hierarchy is strengthened. It conveys a message. Veterans are still a prerequisite for rising talents. The order is still important. And at 30, Paolini is aware of the need of legacy upkeep. It takes more than just talent to stay in the top 10. It concerns constancy in the face of danger. Additionally, Eala is a threat. This is the final query. Who manages the situation more effectively? The moment, not the serve or the forehand. Because tennis becomes brutally simple in those conditions with those lights, that noise, and that heat. Perform or pause. Have faith or have doubt. Attack or back off. Picture match point. Between bounces, there is silence. A final serving. One final comeback. Is the line clipped by the ball? Is there an inch of drift? At this level, margins are extremely thin. Additionally, margins will matter more tomorrow than a scoreline. They make the belief decision. If you support Eala, consider whether she can continue to be aggressive without becoming irresponsible. If you're rooting for Peony, consider if she can handle the first chaos without becoming tense. Since both of the scenarios are believable, this is the reason it's so addictive. And this is what I'd like to know. Is this Alexandra Eala's official arrival night? Or does the tour get a reminder from Jasmine Paolini that experience still reigns supreme under duress? Leave your guess in the space provided below. Tell me in threes or straight sets. Let me know who gets the first set. The comments are being read by me. If you enjoy in-depth, high-stakes tennis analysis, please hit like so that additional fans can discover this. If you would like post-match analysis right after the last ball, subscribe. Most crucial, don't miss the initial games because, on occasion, the first 10 minutes subtly determine the outcome. It's more than just round of 32 tomorrow night. It serves as a measurement device. It's youth versus experience, momentum versus mastery. And there is only one more story to tell under those Dubai lights.